when a simulated beautiful female robot infiltrates the police station. With military-grade resistance and combat capabilities at peak, it can also activate an entertainment mode. Such a cool machine beauty, she actually falls in love with a married man, unfolding a hilarious story of human-robot romance. Last season, it was mentioned that Andrew reconciled with his human girlfriend, Mary. Unexpectedly, the robot Anna, who was supposed to be dead, suddenly reappears and shoots Andrew. The police, upon receiving the news, rush to the scene to capture Anna. Officer Jean steps on the accelerator and finally catches up with the running Anna. The young police officer rolls down the car window and warns the other party to stop immediately. However, Anna completely ignores him. Seeing this, Jean charges towards her, but Anna jumps and leaps directly over the police car. Jean doesn't want to let this opportunity slip away and accelerates to intercept Anna successfully. The two police officers get out of the car, pointing their guns at Anna, forcing her to surrender. As a result, each person got kicked and fell down on the spot. When they woke up again, they found themselves lying in the hospital. The television is reporting news related to robots, stating that the development has failed. The robot police were destroyed during a live broadcast, but Andrew on the other side was lucky and recovered after receiving medical treatment. The police station seems to have returned to its original state. After the robot destruction incident, the local crime rate soared. Without the fast-solving robots, the good days for criminals have finally arrived. The chief only set one year-end goal: to stay alive and not be killed by the criminals. At this moment, a subordinate came to report that a lady had accused an immigrant tenant of attempted rape. The chief instructed the three main characters to investigate. When they arrived at the scene and saw the plump aunt in front of them, the three of them immediately showed suspicious looks. Jean even accidentally burst out laughing. He used fingerprint collection as an excuse to find a place to laugh. Little did he know, the plump aunt said that the fingerprints were all over her body and started undressing. Leo couldn't bear to look, and the three of them quickly asked her to put her clothes back on and proceeded to question her according to the procedure. The plump aunt stated that she had rented her house to a few workers. One night, she went to visit the tenants to see if they needed any help. As a result, one of the guys approached the plump aunt and pawed her offensively, while another person harassed her from behind. In order to prove herself, the aunt turned around to take off her clothes and show her back. The three of them quickly stopped her. Andrew believed that she looked down on immigrants and was merely trying to frame them. After completing the procedure, they left the scene. When he returned to the police station to report the situation, he saw an unexpected person, the chief's own daughter, aka Andrew's ex-fiancée. However, she ran away on their wedding day and ended up with a wealthy Frenchman. Andrew didn't want to be in the same room with her. After reporting the case, he left the office, unaware that there was an even bigger surprise waiting for him. Andrew is now focused on investigating, searching for those three workers everywhere, but he can't find them anywhere. He even suspects that the immigrants didn't take the car and planned to walk back to Belarus. At this time, Leo was still outside looking for people and ended up getting lost. He called Andrew for help, but Andrew was too lazy to go over. He told Leo to find a way to commit a minor offense so that the police would arrest him and bring him back to the police station. It was a time-saving and effortless option. Leo's phone quickly ran out of battery. After hesitating, he decided to follow the advice and urinated in public on the main road. As expected, he was taken back to the police station by the police. On the other side, Andrew and Jean were preparing to go to the train station to continue searching for people. Unexpectedly, those three idiots were hitchhiking on the road. Andrew tricked them into getting on the car and drove them straight to the police station. The three workers were indeed innocent of raping the landlady, and they had also been owed 2 months' worth of wages by their employer. The landlady took advantage of the situation to raise the rent and attempted extortion but failed, so she intentionally accused them falsely, using her bruises as evidence, and refused to withdraw her complaint. At this point, Leo put forward an idea. A person of the aunt's age would definitely seek help from acquaintances to forge injuries, because she didn't want strangers to touch her. The police found the aunt's son-in-law, and it turned out that he intentionally bruised the landlady. The three immigrants were released as innocent, and Andrew even sponsored their travel expenses. Life at the police station is so mundane. Anna seems to have never appeared. Andrew found Boris in prison, and finally learned the reason why Anna attacked him. It turns out that it was this guy's instructions, because Boris is Anna's creator, and robots cannot disobey commands. The next day, Andrew went to work at the police station, but unexpectedly, a new female colleague transferred in. She looked exactly like Anna, and everyone got scared and reached for their guns in self-defense. The woman signaled for them not to be nervous. She is the prototype of that robot. As she was speaking, Anna sneezed, startling everyone. It turns out that Boris's dream lover didn't die, because they couldn't be together. He fabricated the lie of Anna's death. and she is now married with a child. Andrew didn't believe the other person, so he picked up the phone and threw it, accidentally knocking out her teeth. It was only then that he realized the person in front of him was indeed a human. Anna came here this time to assist in investigating a corruption case. Deputy Minister Darren was reported by multiple people, but the investigators themselves are suspected of corruption. Anna received approval from the management to disguise as a high-ranking officer and infiltrate to uncover the truth. The chief entrusted this case to Anna. Before leaving, the chief also instructed Andrew to talk to his daughter, Susan. When they met, Susan took the initiative to seduce him and played some tricks under the table. Andrew stayed overnight. He had long forgotten about his wife, Mary. The next day, just as Andrew was about to leave, a little girl ran up to him and hugged him, calling him Daddy. It turns out that Susan got pregnant before she ran away back then. Andrew immediately went to talk to the chief, but he was pulled aside to handle the corruption case. Anna has already disguised herself as a high-ranking officer and infiltrated the enemy's ranks. Darren was happily discussing business with a beautiful woman when Anna placed a briefcase on the table. As long as Darren accepted it, the police would rush in and apprehend him on the spot. However, Darren didn't accept the bribe, so they had to take a more aggressive approach. They conducted a thorough search of Darren's properties, but didn't find any evidence, even after working late into the night. At that moment, Anna discovered that Darren's grandson owned a small apartment. They immediately headed there. Anna used a hairpin to open the lock, and when they opened the bedroom door, a pile of cash fell out. The bedroom was filled with money. Anna said there was probably 50 billion rubles here, and she could quickly estimate it based on the area. This woman was indeed remarkable. Immediately after, Andrew called Darren, and as soon as Darren answered, Andrew started recording the conversation. Andrew set a trap for Darren, making him admit that the cash was his. In this way, they successfully captured Darren and donated all the illicit funds to those in need. Everyone was happy for solving the case and went to KTV together to celebrate. Anna was singing on stage, and Andrew was lost in thought. He had already started to suspect Anna when she estimated the amount of illicit funds. This Anna must be a robot. Hearing her singing, Andrew became even more convinced of his speculation. He followed the other person home, but when he reached the doorstep, he heard Anna arguing with her husband. Feeling disappointed, he left the apartment without realizing that Anna was secretly watching from the window. The next day, the four of them carried out their mission together. A couple's house was occupied by outsiders because part of the property rights belonged to their sister, Kathy. The other party deliberately had 3 men move in to pressure them into selling their property. The 4 police officers also brought their luggage and moved in, seeing who would leave the apartment first. They each found a place to arrange their sleeping areas. Jean slept in the bathroom, Leo slept in the toilet, and Anna and Andrew slept in the kitchen. After a long conversation, Andrew dispelled the idea that Anna was a robot. At that moment, the man got up to use the bathroom, but Leo was already sitting on the toilet, so he had to go to the other bathroom. Yet Jean was lying in the bathtub reading a book, so the man reluctantly decided to use the kitchen sink, only to find 2 people lying on the floor. He decided to relieve himself on the street, but the next moment, he was caught by patrolling police for public urination. After just one night, they successfully forced one person out. Kathy, knowing that the police had intervened, brought a group of homeless people to occupy her half of the house. She was determined to fight Andrew to the end. The small apartment became even more crowded than a market, and the 2 men didn't want to stay any longer, so they packed up and moved out. The old man couldn't bear it anymore, and decided to transfer the entire house to Kathy. Leo was unwilling to give up, and caught up with the 2 men, accusing them of theft and bringing them back to the police station. He also called their parents to report the incident. After some interrogation, Andrew learned that Kathy had organized a criminal gang privately. He immediately led a team to apprehend Kathy, successfully preventing the elderly couple from selling their house. Late into the night, Andrew was still working overtime, and only he and Anna were left in the police station. Perhaps due to the pleasant atmosphere, Andrew forgot that both of them were married, and couldn't resist kissing Anna. At a critical moment, Anna suddenly shut down, revealing that she was indeed a robot. The sudden shutdown was due to Boris, who was secretly monitoring the situation, intervening because he couldn't bear it. The female officer threatened Boris not to interfere with the plan, so Boris had to reboot Anna. Anna quickly regained consciousness, and Andrew questioned her about why she fired her gun. She explained that it was an order from her superiors, and that she had deliberately avoided hitting vital organs, allowing Andrew to remain unharmed. To appease Andrew, Anna pointed to her own chin and asked him to shoot, explaining that hitting that spot would disable her as a robot. Andrew calmed down, and was surprised by the evolution of the robots. Anna now not only had fine lines, but also could sneeze. Andrew asked about the argument they heard that day. and it turned out that Anna could simulate human and animal sounds. She knew that Andrew was outside the door. She deliberately staged a big show, and the destruction of the broadcast on TV was just a fabricated video. The president does not want to halt robot research, and the leader was watching the two of them through surveillance. He was angry about the leaked classified information. At this moment, Mary came to call her husband to go home, and she was startled when she saw Anna. She immediately picked up a chair and smashed it. Anna pretended to be in pain, and Mary mistakenly thought she was a human, believing her explanation. She even complained to Anna about her husband's affair with Susan. Anna escorted Mary out of the police station, but when she returned, her attitude changed. She couldn't understand why Andrew, who had chosen Mary, was involved with Susan again. Anna angrily took her bag and left. Boris became extremely excited when he saw this. This robot was beyond his imagination, as it was gradually developing human emotions. Mary couldn't find anyone at the police station, so she went to Susan's house and caused a scene. Unexpectedly, she discovered Andrew's illegitimate daughter. Angry, Mary left the scene. The next day, she went to break up with Andrew, but to her surprise, he accepted it with a smile, and even offered to accompany her to the train station. His behavior and attitude were completely different from usual. Boris was monitoring everything through the surveillance, while Andrew was busy at the police station. The case he was handling related to the Jean couple who were victims of fraud while looking for a house, having someone deceive them for a loan. Andrew agreed to help handle it, but his thoughts were all on Anna. He wanted to rekindle their relationship. Unexpectedly, Anna was indifferent, and at this moment, Mary called again, wanting to give her husband one last chance. However, Andrew hung up after a few words. Anna went to the train station to find Mary, wanting to help her win back Andrew. The two women returned home together, and Anna taught Mary how to flirt. She took a bunch of sexy photos for Mary. Anna used her glasses to take photos, and photoshopped the photos with her brain. Anna provided comprehensive assistance. Afterwards, Mary sent the photos to Andrew, who was playing with his daughter. As soon as he saw the photos, he immediately called Mary. His wife said she was waiting at home. At this moment, Susan walked over in her pajamas. Andrew compared her to the woman in the photos, Mary, and decisively chose to go home. Although they had a rare harmonious night, Mary exposed Andrew's true feelings, saying that he called her Anna last night. Andrew knew he was in the wrong, and promised to improve their marital relationship. After returning to the police station, Andrew and Anna continued to investigate the loan matter. The suspect had a pentagram birthmark on body. Anna immediately searched her mind and found a match. The person was working as a waiter in a restaurant. Andrew easily apprehended the suspect. Jean now only needs to wait for the court's decision. He invited little Leo to celebrate at home with drinks, but Andrew arrived first. Then, another person who looked like Jean appeared. What is going on? Could it be that the Andrew who broke up with Mary is this imposter? Jean couldn't handle the situation, and decided to call the police to apprehend the individuals. The two imposters were locked in the interrogation room. Andrew hurriedly arrived after hearing the news. And indeed, the two of them looked exactly alike. At that moment, Anna also entered the room, and asked them to release the clones. Andrew pretended to agree, but in the next second, he pulled out a gun and shot all three people in front of him. Several bodies lay in a row. Little Leo aimed the gun at Andrew, as this could be a murder charge. Andrew explained that they were all robots, but the chief didn't dare to believe it. He walked over to Anna to observe, and in the next second, she opened her eyes and got up. The other two robots also stood up, leaving everyone shocked. Anna didn't waste any time and instructed everyone to follow her. They all got into a van used for transporting prisoners, and were taken to a pristine white room. Shortly after, a major general walked in, and explained to everyone that it was a robot research project. These products have not been put into use yet. They are currently in the testing phase. Once the development is successful, they can be deployed in military applications. The robots we see now are merely observing how everyone lives. After saying that, they brought Boris forward, and introduced him as the developer of the entire project. The attitude towards him from the group was poor, but they had to accept the arrangements from higher-ups. The police officers went back to their respective homes, but since they found out that there are cameras everywhere, they couldn't help but feel burdened. Jean was still wearing a full suit at home. The next day, during the meeting, the chief also unusually changed into a uniform. The corresponding robots were observing behind the cameras, learning from the behavior and style of the individuals. On that day, the police station received a report from an art gallery. They had lost a portrait by Hertzen. The thief had disguised himself as a staff member, and took the artwork during the exhibition, but the alarm did not go off. The team decided to closely monitor each collector first, and then confirm if there was an insider in the security company. Jean had a conversation with the head of security to discuss the matter. The person claimed to be a gallery staff member, and explained that they didn't set off the alarm. to avoid startling the elderly visitors, which could lead to hypertension or cardiac arrest. This reason seemed plausible, and Anna used the built-in lie detector to test the gallery's tour guide, eliminating the possibility of her lying. Leo investigated the surveillance footage from the art exhibition and discovered that the suspect was limping. Currently, there are no significant leads to pursue. Andrew and Anna have been giving each other the silent treatment for many days. That evening, Andrew discovered that all of Mary's photos were taken by Anna, and now they have been leaked online. Andrew suspected that Anna leaked the photos and scolded her. Unexpectedly, the robot started shedding tears. Anna felt something was wrong and immediately went to see a psychologist, because that's what humans do when they are upset. Yet Anna didn't receive any help. She was called back by Boris and underwent a comprehensive examination, but no issues were found. Boris had to warn Anna not to have excessive contact with Andrew and clarified that she was not the one who leaked the private photos. Andrew had a conversation with Mary and learned that Susan had visited their house, and it turned out that she was the one who leaked the photos. He found Susan and warned her. On the other hand, Leo found a clue. He gathered information from the staff and discovered that someone had bought a replica of a famous painting on the opening day, but returned it after a few days. Leo considered this person a suspect. He obtained the contact information immediately and go to the person's house for investigation, and the painting is sitting on their desk. This drunkard went to see the painting on the day of the exhibition and felt that the character Herzen in the painting was inviting him to steal it, so he boldly took the painting home. Ever since he had the painting, he started experiencing hallucinations and hearing Herzen telling him stories. The drunkard wrote everything down, intending to complete a novel. Upon hearing this, Leo had a crooked idea and asked the drunkard for 300,000, promising to act as if he hadn't found anything. The next day, during a meeting at the police station, the drunkard unexpectedly showed up with the painting and manuscript, reporting Leo for extortion. The police officers naturally let their colleague off the hook. Meanwhile, Anna used information analysis to identify the work and discovered that it exhibited exceptional literary skills and truly resembled Herzen's style. This case also had a supernatural aspect. At that moment, a general called, summoning the police chief for a conversation, instructing him to cover up the case to avoid causing public panic. On that day, the portrait of Herzen was returned to the gallery. Andrew took his daughter there for a visit, and Anna noticed them and came over to greet them. The willful little girl handed Anna a half-eaten lollipop, asking her to help finish it. The robot took it and put it in its mouth, playfully amusing the little girl, while Anna quickly detected that she wasn't Andrew's biological daughter. The next day, a new case emerged. An attempted assassination on a Moscow senator occurred, with him being poisoned during a class reunion. He suspected that the culprit was among the attendees. According to the medical report, the poison's prescription was not sold in regular pharmacies. There were a total of 9 suspects, 8 students, and 1 teacher. The simplest approach was to question them one by one. After questioning for a while, they didn't find any leads. Jean called Andrew out of the interrogation room and informed him that Susan had come to the police station to report him for assault. She claimed that their daughter witnessed the entire incident, and her eyes were bruised when she arrived. Andrew did confront Susan about the leaked photos, but he absolutely didn't physically assault her. The police chief instructed Andrew to handle the matter properly, or else he would be suspended pending an investigation. Andrew and Jean went to Susan's house to question her, with their daughter speaking up for him. Andrew successfully cleared his name, and his affection for his daughter grew stronger. The next day, Andrew immersed himself in the senator's case. Unexpectedly, the police chief received a call, informing him that the senator had been poisoned again, and was now in intensive care. Andrew and Jean immediately gathered all the suspects. Andrew mentioned that they had installed a camera in the hospital room, capturing the perpetrator's actions on video. He pretended to take out his phone, and Anna understood him intuitively. They immediately checked the heart rate and blood pressure of all the suspects, effortlessly identifying the most nervous teacher. Anna quietly told Andrew that the suspect shouted the name of the teacher, causing the suspect to faint in fear. It turns out the teacher opposed the promotion of 5G, so he targeted the senator who supported the initiative. What kind of bizarre reason is this? Is killing people so casual in Russia? Fortunately, the case concluded successfully, and Anna felt a deep compatibility and happiness when she was with Andrew. Unable to resist her feelings, she kissed him and decided to reveal a secret to Andrew. Anna took him to a factory. Due to the failure of policies aimed at increasing the birth rate, there weren't enough people to guard the country's territory. As a result, higher authorities were continuously producing simulated robots, with the intention of deploying them in uninhabited areas to meet the country's population needs. Andrew looked at the room full of robots and couldn't help but vomit. The atmosphere became somber on the way back. but Anna untimely confessed her feelings. Andrew wanted to give his daughter a normal family, where both parents were human, so he didn't respond. Anna straightforwardly revealed that the little girl wasn't Andrew's child. Andrew got so angry that he got out of the car and yelled at her. He hated that Anna shattered his dreams. They had a heated argument, and at a crucial moment, the car wouldn't start. Anna stepped forward and pushed the car with an extraordinary speed. She kept pushing until the car was almost scrapped, and Anna finally calmed down. The next day, they went to work at the police station as usual. During the meeting, Andrew kept feeling sleepy because he was busy discussing with Mary about having a child last night. Andrew is a single-minded person. Since Susan's child is not his, he wants to have another child with Mary. His thinking is that simple. Anna and Andrew's relationship hit rock bottom, and from then on, they both kept busy with their own tasks and didn't interfere with each other. Andrew went to investigate the assault on the Major, while Anna stayed at the police station to handle a case of pension robbery and the recent rampant bank card fraud. The old ladies whose pensions were robbed gathered at the police station, claiming to supervise the actions of the police. While the old ladies were chattering non-stop, Anna suddenly started hiccuping. She immediately ran into the restroom and vomited into the sink. However, the robot couldn't produce anything when vomiting. Anna was uncertain about what was happening to her. Boris quickly checked the system, but didn't find any abnormalities. Nevertheless, Anna's condition didn't improve. When Jean heard her reaction, he suspected that Anna might be pregnant. Perhaps she wasn't a robot at all but a hypnotized human. He picked up a small knife and asked Anna if she wanted her belly to be cut open to check. Fortunately, the robot hadn't lost its sanity and refused Jean's proposal. On the other side, Andrew's case had already found the culprit. It turned out that the person who injured the Major was none other than Leo from the police station. He couldn't stand the other person's behavior and thought about giving the Major a lesson. Andrew agreed to help Leo cover up his crime and turned to investigate the pension case. He called Leo and asked him to go to the hospital to visit the robbed mailman. On the day of the incident, the mailman went out carrying nearly 20 pensions. Since these old ladies refused bank transfers, he had to visit them with cash. When he reached the staircase of a certain apartment building, someone tripped him from the shadows and then injected him with an unknown substance, causing the mailman to faint on the spot. Andrew consulted with the doctor and examined the mailman's test results. The substance injected was insulin, and only acquaintances would know that the mailman had diabetes. Andrew suspected the case was committed by an insider rather than the work of those old ladies, or the mailman himself stealing. He gathered all the pension recipients, preparing to personally interrogate them. When all the residents were gathered, Andrew noticed that the number was incorrect, and one person was missing. The elderly lady with a headscarf said that Lena was not present. She didn't open the door or answer the phone. Upon hearing this, Andrew immediately went to apprehend her. He instructed a locksmith company to open the door, but Lena had long disappeared, and the house was filled with open packages. Andrew retrieved Lena's bank card statements and discovered that she had purchased a plane ticket to Thailand. Andrew explained to a few old ladies that an extradition request had been filed for Lena, and they should wait patiently for the outcome. To everyone's surprise, the old ladies gave up on capturing Lena. They had seen through social media that she was enjoying her vacation in Thailand and believed that someone daring to go out and pursue their dreams was something worth encouraging. So they voluntarily gave up this month's pension, allowing an elderly lady to enjoy herself before her passing. Meanwhile, Anna and Jean spread various bank card information online, focusing on luring in credit card scammers. The police station received a genuine fraud call, and Anna traced the perpetrator's IP address. They immediately drove to the scene. Jean forcefully entered while holding a hammer, smashing the office desk. Anna revealed her credentials and arrested them. In the interrogation room, the suspects insisted on waiting for their lawyer. Jean and Anna decided to take drastic measures and intentionally argued with each other. Jean pulled out a gun and shot Anna directly, then dragged the body to the window and threw it down, creating the image of a volatile police officer. This successfully intimidated the suspects, and they confessed to all the crimes. After resolving the case, Anna returned to headquarters for examination. The next day, she told Andrew that she was pregnant, but he didn't believe her. Anna knew that if Andrew wanted a child, they couldn't be together. Andrew said he hadn't figured out what to do with their relationship, but he would always love her. They couldn't resist their feelings and kissed each other. Unexpectedly, they were interrupted by the sudden appearance of Susan. Andrew decided to be honest and confessed that he already knew the child wasn't his. Susan showed no remorse. Anna left the police station for unknown reasons without reporting to the chief. Andrew had no time to dwell on it, because the police station received an important assignment, and several key officers had to go on a business trip. Everyone flew to their destination. The local police chief came to greet them and explained that their mission was to find the missing scientist, Dr. John. After settling their luggage at the hotel, they prepared to visit the factory where the doctor worked for an investigation. Yet, the factory manager disliked the police and didn't provide any useful information. Fortunately, she agreed to cooperate by allowing the employees to be interviewed and undergo polygraph tests. Andrew immediately started investigating the suspects, but he didn't get any results after questioning them. While the police were away on a business trip, a team of robots infiltrated their lives. After a long period of observation and learning, these simulated robots were finally put to the test and replaced several police officers in their own homes. Mary and the others didn't notice any issues. Instead, they thought their spouses were more attentive than usual. The performance of the robots was remarkable, with the fake police chief even successfully winning back his ex-wife. Andrew also stayed dutifully at home, focused on making Mary happy. However, an accident occurred as Leo was not part of the robot plan. When his girlfriend visited Jean's wife, she accidentally discovered that the other police officers had returned home, leaving Leo on a business trip. She immediately suspected her boyfriend of cheating. At the same time, Leo wanted to contact his girlfriend, but their phones were handed over, and he couldn't borrow anywhere. Finally, he managed to borrow a phone from a small shop, and learned that his colleagues had all been replaced. Leo immediately told the others, and they realized they had been deceived. The government, for the sake of the robot program, wanted to trap them here. The group planned to find a way to leave, so they bought a lot of alcohol and returned to their rooms. They created a false appearance of throwing a party, while secretly climbing down using bed sheets. Several police officers drove to the airport to return to Moscow. Along the way, they tracked down the robots and discovered several families gathering. The women were being entertained by the robots, leaving the police chief unsure of what to do. After all, these robots were national property, so he could only call his superiors. Little did he know, the other side was only concerned about the robot program, so everyone decided to find their own solution. Andrew tried to contact Anna for help, but she didn't answer. It turned out that Anna had been troubled by unresolved emotions during the time she left the police station. She went to a bar and got drunk. Unexpectedly, she met Susan, and due to her intoxicated state, Anna confessed the robots' identities. Boris had no choice but to take Susan back to headquarters and await orders from superiors. On Andrew's side, they acquired a high-power electronic jammer and planned to interfere with the robot signals. Ideally, they wanted to make the robots malfunction and faint, allowing them to break in and shoot the robots in the chin to eliminate them. After finalizing the plan, they started to take action. Before Andrew entered the house, left a voice message for Anna. This message stopped the robots that were about to be formatted. She immediately took off the device and prepared to find Andrew. Meanwhile, Leo activated the jammer, causing several robots to convulse and fall to the ground. The main group immediately rushed in and explained the situation to everyone. Unexpectedly, Mary and others had already been charmed by the robots and were unwilling to believe the truth. At that moment, the jammer malfunctioned and the robots returned to normal. Andrew killed the fake police chief, and a fierce battle was about to begin. The fake Andrew grabbed Jean and the protagonist, holding them tightly. The female officer monitoring at headquarters saw the situation getting out of control and tried to make a call to report to the general. Unexpectedly, Susan knocked her unconscious. She held a grudge against Andrew due to unrequited love. She instigated Boris to take the opportunity to kill Andrew and the others. With no treaty restrictions, the robots started attacking recklessly. At a critical moment, Anna arrived. As a more advanced robot, she immediately sent the fake Andrew flying with a strike. She grabbed his head and smashed it against the wall. However, the fake Andrew, being a robot, wasn't that easy to kill. He immediately counterattacked and, after a fierce battle, managed to subdue Anna and severely beat her. But this also exposed his vulnerable spot, and Andrew diverted his attention. Jean took the opportunity to throw a gun, which Anna picked up and blasted the fake Andrew's chin. A farce finally came to an end. The robots were sent to the factory for destruction. Unexpectedly, Boris, unwilling to accept failure, used an emergency program to revive the fake Andrew. Seeing the situation, Anna jumped down and held down the opponent, trapping the robot in place. She urged Andrew to quickly activate the button. Mary, seeing her husband hesitate, reached out and pressed the switch. Under the gaze of everyone, Anna sank into the molten liquid and turned into a puddle. Afterward, the robot plan was exposed, and the government, under public pressure, destroyed all the experimental specimens. Everything returned to its original track, and this season came to an end. Similar to the quality of the previous season, it can be considered a decent light comedy. However, the ending still leaves people perplexed, as Anna never has a happy ending. Although the film has been telling the story of robots learning love, it is evident through the male protagonist's actions that life has more challenges to overcome besides love. Because of this, he cannot accept Anna, and rejects the idea of living with a robot, defying societal norms. Perhaps the series will have a third installment, and hopefully the director can bring a satisfying and harmonious conclusion.